In the beginning of the story, we see a magnificent view of the night. A group of some friends is partying heavily on a beautiful beach. Music, fun, and drinks. Everyone was so absorbed in this party that they had no sense of time at all. The night had become quite deep. Then, while partying, their eyes fall on a very strange and large thing on the sand. These friends, intoxicated and full of fun, had absolutely no idea what that thing actually was. Without thinking anything, they start making fun of that unknown thing, and in the middle of the fun, they break and damage that thing. They think that it must be some ordinary trash or stone. Ignoring it there, they get back to their party again. The night had passed quite a bit, and after enjoying excessively, all the friends get terribly tired. Whoever finds a place sleeps there, some in their cars, some on a high place. The next morning, the sun's rays fall on the beach, and one by one, everyone's eyes start opening. Among them was a girl, Marcia. As soon as her eyes open, Marcia feels a very strange restlessness in her body. Her health suddenly starts deteriorating, and she starts vomiting continuously. The other friends think that perhaps this is the result of last night's heavy drinking and hangover, but Marcia was very scared from inside. She was feeling something very strange and scary. Then her friend sitting in the car looks outside at the sand. A crow was sitting there on the sand, but in the next moment, something happens that was hard to believe. That sand suddenly starts pulling that crow inside itself. It felt as if it was not some normal sand, but a very large and deadly swamp. The crow writhes and disappears inside the sand in the blink of an eye. Seeing this terrifying sight, that girl gets terribly scared and screams to her friend Marcia, "Marcia, don't put your feet on the sand, there is danger there." But it was too late. Before Marcia could understand her friend's words, her foot had fallen on that deadly sand, and in no time, the sand starts pulling her inside. Marcia, panicking, puts all her strength into pulling her foot out, but she remains unsuccessful. That sand had gripped her like a magnet. To save her life, Marcia uses her hands, but this was her biggest mistake. Her hands also get badly stuck in that same sand. Now Marcia was shivering with horror and starts screaming loudly in pain. Her friends were watching her writhing, but no one could go down to help her, because whoever stepped on that sand would have the same fate. Seeing Marcia's painful condition, her friend sitting in the car cannot stop himself. He comes out to save her. Everyone else screams at him to refuse, "Don't go, stop," but he doesn't listen to anyone. As that boy goes running over the sand, suddenly his balance breaks and he falls straight on the sand face first. And now what happens was no less than a bad dream. Because of falling face first, the skin of his face gets badly stuck to that terrifying sand. He tries to lift himself while screaming, but the sand had gripped his whole body and had injured him badly. To save him, his friends try to pull him by starting the car, but as if luck was bad, the car doesn't start at all. Then another friend sitting on the tower throws a rope toward that boy, but that boy was not even in a condition now that he could extend his hands and catch that rope. And in front of them all, that boy's whole body sinks into that terrifying sand while writhing. Seeing their friends die such an untimely death, all the remaining people go into shock. Horror could be clearly seen on their faces. Now they understood that if they didn't find a way to get out of here soon, they all would be killed. The boy named Jonah sitting in the driving seat of the car tries once again with all his strength to start the car, but the car doesn't move an inch. Then their eyes fall on a drum a short distance away. A healthy, fat man was stuck inside that drum, and that drum was moving over the sand. Seeing this, all the friends start screaming, "Please stop moving, if you fall down, this sand will swallow you alive." The man with the drum gets irritated hearing their words and says, "Are you guys making fun of me? Actually, last night when all these terrifying events were happening, that man was sleeping in a deep sleep, so he didn't know anything. But when he feels pain in his body, he starts struggling." To keep him quiet, a boy tells a lie, "Don't panic, we have called for help. The rescue team is going to reach here in the next 2 hours." Hearing this, that man with the drum relaxes a bit and agrees, while the reality was that no help was going to come. They all had become badly stuck in this death trap. Then, a very terrifying thought comes into the mind of one of Marcia's friends. She says in a trembling voice, "Last night we partied on this same beach, then this sand didn't do anything to us, and where did our other friends go who slept on the sand?" Hearing this, everyone's soul shivers. It didn't take them long to understand that all their friends who slept on the sand at night have become victims of that unknown thing, and now they are not in this world. And these people survived only because they had either slept inside their cars or on a high place. In just a little while, that man with the drum starts screaming loudly, troubled by the sun and heat. One friend, taking pity, throws sunscreen toward him, which gives him some relief when applied. But then everyone's eyes fall on that thing, which they had broken in fun last night. In the daylight, that thing was now clearly visible. It was no ordinary thing. It was a very large egg which they had made the biggest mistake of their lives by breaking last night. The egg had broken and divided into 2 parts, which simply meant that whatever terrifying creature was inside it has now come out, and that very creature is hiding under this sand and hunting them all. To confirm this, Marcia's friend throws a thing on the sand, and the sand immediately pulls it inside. Now it was proven that death was waiting for them right below. Seeing all this, Jonah says that we cannot wait for death by sitting idle, we have to do something ourselves. He dares to pick up a skateboard and takes the risk of getting out of the car to reach a table kept nearby. He puts the skateboard on the sand and starts walking on it very carefully. Everything was going fine, but as he is about to reach near the table, his skateboard slips. Jonah's foot slips, and he reaches very close to that terrifying sand. Then some unknown and terrifying thing comes out rapidly from inside the sand and touches and tears Jonah's stomach. But Jonah shows amazing courage and, without losing a second, immediately jumps and climbs onto the table. A bag was kept on the table in which there were some snacks. Distressed by hunger and weakness, Jonah eats a banana, but he immediately gets a vomiting sensation. And when he looks toward his stomach, he is shocked. His stomach was filled with deep and terrifying wounds, and blood was flowing continuously from it. Seeing his painful condition, his friends get terribly scared, but Jonah smiles and says to them, "Nothing has happened to me, I am fine, you all take care of your safety." To quench his friend's thirst, he throws drinks toward them from the table without caring for his life. But then the pain in his stomach becomes beyond endurance. His friend starts crying bitterly, seeing him writhing like this. Jonah gives her courage and says, "Don't cry, we all are strong, right?" And saying this, he lies down right there on the table. Then a girl sitting in the car remembers that all their mobile phones are kept in the car's trunk. If they could get those phones, they could call the police. But the car's trunk could only be opened from the outside, and going outside meant direct death. Then a girl gathers courage and says, "I will try." For safety, another girl holds her with a piece of cloth so that she doesn't fall on the sand. That girl reaches the trunk with great difficulty, but the trunk was not opening at all. Then Jonah's friend hands her an iron rod. With the help of the rod and after a lot of effort, that girl finally opens the trunk. But then they see a vehicle coming from far away. It was the beach patrol supervisor there. A glimmer of hope comes into everyone's eyes. But in the meantime, the girl who had opened the trunk suddenly has the trunk fall down with a thud, and that poor girl's fingers get badly stuck and crushed in the middle of the trunk. She starts screaming in pain. The supervisor reaches near them with his vehicle and starts getting out of the vehicle. All the friends scream at him to stop. "Please don't put your feet on the sand, don't come down." But the supervisor thinks that these are all addict kids who are doing drama after taking drugs. But as soon as that supervisor puts his foot on the sand, everyone is surprised. The sand doesn't pull him inside. First of all, he goes to Jonah and is stunned to see the terrifying wounds on his stomach. Then he tries to get that man with the drum out, but his weight was very much. The supervisor says, "I will call my team now, but I don't understand what madness you guys are doing." Then Jonah's friend says while crying, "Our friend's fingers are stuck in the trunk, please help her." The supervisor goes to her but doesn't make any special effort to get her out. Seeing this, Jonah's friend starts screaming in anger. The supervisor says irritably, "Why are you talking to me so rudely? After all, what is the drama?" She answers screaming, "Don't you see what trouble we are in? This sand has swallowed 2 of our friends alive." The supervisor says laughing, "You found me to make a fool of? If it's like this, then look, I am also standing on this same sand. Nothing happened to me." The supervisor takes out his gun in anger, but in this rush, his car keys fall on the sand. Everyone screams together, "No, don't touch the sand." But that arrogant supervisor doesn't listen to anyone. As soon as he touches the sand to pick up his keys, that terrifying creature grips his hand. The supervisor, panicking, takes out pepper spray with his other hand and sprays it on the sand. But it has no effect on that monster. The creature pulls so hard that half of the supervisor's hand is cut off and separated from his body. A fountain of blood breaks out, and he falls on that same sand while writhing in pain. In no time, that creature drags that supervisor inside the sand too. Seeing the chance, Jonah's friend picks up that pepper spray from far away. Who knows if it will be useful ahead? Now Jonah's friend understood one thing. Nothing had happened to the supervisor initially because he was wearing heavy boots with thick fibers whose texture was like a towel. She immediately tells her friend sitting on the tower above, "Throw towels toward me, we can tie them on our feet and get out of here." Her friend throws towels down, but in the attempt to have them caught, his balance breaks and he falls straight down from the tower onto the sand. And this time, the sight seen was the most terrifying. Many hair or root-like tentacles come out from inside the sand. Those tentacles stick to that boy's whole body and start drinking his blood alive. In just a few moments, he also dies while writhing. Seeing this, the girl with black hair starts crying bitterly, putting her hands over her ears. But Jonah's friend was not going to give up now. She works on her plan. She starts making a path one after another using iron grills. She jumps and comes onto the car's roof and finally frees that girl's stuck fingers and ties a towel on her cut hand. On the other side, the man with the drum who was stuck until now, his body had now started to scrape against the edges of the drum because of swelling. Blood from his body was going straight into the sand. As soon as they get the smell of blood, all those terrifying tentacles move rapidly toward that drum. Those tentacles empty the drum from below and, in the blink of an eye, pull that heavy man along with the drum inside the sand. Another terrifying death. Now the 3 girls had made a path from the car to the table with the help of the grill. The girl with black hair reaches near Jonah carefully. Now it was the turn of the girl whose fingers had been cut. She moves forward while balancing on the grill, but then a drop of blood from her cut hand falls straight down onto the sand. One drop of blood, and that creature comes out immediately. Seeing the creature, that girl gets so scared that her balance breaks, and she falls straight into that swamp of death. The creature pulls her inside the sand without mercy. On the other side, the girl with black hair takes the risk of walking on the sand by tying towels on her feet. Because of the towels, the creature cannot feel her, and she reaches the roof of the supervisor's vehicle safely. But due to a deep head injury while falling, she faints right there. Now Jonah's friend was left absolutely alone. Jonah was badly injured, and the other girl was unconscious. Gradually, the day fades, and the darkness of the night spreads. At midnight, the girl with black hair regains consciousness. They both together try to run away from there, taking the injured Jonah. But as soon as they reach the vehicle, suddenly a very large and terrifying tentacle comes out and closes the vehicle's door. This time, those tentacles were glowing in the dark. A terrifying blue light was coming out of them. But Jonah's friend was not among those who get scared now. She immediately climbs on top of the vehicle and picks up a gas can kept there. Without thinking, she pours petrol all around the vehicle and over that creature's tentacles, and in the next moment, she sets it on fire. As soon as the fire is lit, that creature starts writhing while making terrifying noises in pain. Burning with the flames of fire, its strength gives way, and it sinks back into a very deep part of the sand to save itself. Taking the chance, the three enter inside the vehicle and lock the door. After the horror and fatigue of the whole night, those three sleep in that same vehicle. The next morning, someone knocks on the car's window. When eyes open, a police officer was standing outside. Jonah's friend hesitantly puts her foot on the sand, but this time the sand doesn't pull her inside. The creature had perhaps died from last night's fire. The girl with black hair also comes out. Both had become free, but their happiness turns into mourning when they see that Jonah had died in the backseat of the car due to heavy bleeding. The one who saved everyone's life himself lost this battle. This was a very tear-jerking moment. But wait, friends, the story is not over yet. In the very last scene of the movie, we find out a truth that blows the mind. That creature had not died from last night's fire. The camera pans, and we see that the terrifying creature has come out of the sand and is roaming free somewhere else via the sea. And it is now moving straight toward the main city via the sea, where millions of people live. And with this hair-raising suspense, this terrifying story ends right here.